Hey everyone, I'm Ricky, and today I'm going to be reviewing RuPaul's Drag Race Season 10, Episode 1. Now, Season 10 is finally here. I've been so excited for this ever since the mess that is Season 9 and All Stars 3. I did a reaction review of all of the girls when I watched the Meet the Queens video, so if you want to check that out, there should be a little banner thingy somewhere up here. You could click that and go watch it. It's now been, I think, 10 years since RuPaul's Drag Race started, and now with this 10th season, the first episode is very, very good. First of all, the workroom got a makeover, and it looks good. It just looks a little loud with all the colors, but you know, it needed a change. It's a fresh start to a new decade of Drag Race Queens and Drag Race seasons, and I'm excited for it. So first to walk into the workroom is Eureka. She is back from Season 9. Her knee has been replaced, she had surgery, and she looks so good in her little phoenix outfit rising from the ashes. Eureka is so excited to be back in Season 10 that the first thing she does is go straight to the ground and kisses the dirty ass floor. I'm hoping that Eureka is a force to be reckoned with this season because she was doing very well in Season 9 before she got disqualified because of her injury. She was so excited to be back, and I am excited to see her back on the screen. Next up is Asia O'Hara, and you can tell that she is a pageant queen because her smile has had so much work done to it. It is perfect, it's beautiful, it looks like Linda Evangelista's smile. Eureka knows that Asia is going to be a lot of competition, so I'm hoping that Asia does not disappoint. She definitely has a better wig on for this first episode than she did for her Meet the Queens, so I am excited more now than I was when she had a dusty old rag on top of her head. Next into the workroom is Miss Cracker, and she is ready for dinner. I am really excited about her energy. She seems super fun. Apparently the name Miss Cracker is a little too abrasive or offensive or something to both Monique Hart and to Asia O'Hara. I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's a southern thing, I don't know. But she was bringing tons of comedy this episode, and I am really excited to see her for the rest of the season, to see what tricks she can pull out of the bag. Next up was Asian Bianca Del Rio. I'm just kidding. It was Yuha Hamasaki, and she is also from New York. She seems like she was fun, but she also seemed like she might have been a little bored or overwhelmed. I couldn't really tell which, but I guess we'll see in the rest of the season. Next to walk in is Blair St. Clair, and she is very Broadway. The way that she talks, she like uses her hands and everything. You could just tell she's like total old Hollywood film. And she also looks like a 12-year-old boy that accidentally walked into the set of RuPaul's Drag Race. Next up is Bob the Drag Queen Exchange, and she is coming in sweeping up the competition. It was a very long walk to get through her little transformation, but she did it. She looked good, and she's giving me Rosie the Riveter. I am really excited to see her on the season. It's nice to see a winner, Bob the Drag Queen, come back into the competition. Next up is Cameron Michaels, and he looks like a man in a dress. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the dress, maybe it was the hair, maybe it was the makeup, but she just looked like a man in a dress.
He is simply a boy in a dress.
Cameron Michaels' thing seems to just be talking about his muscles all the time.
I have muscles. Muscle queen. But I auditioned for Pit Crew. Super masculine. I'm the muscle queen. I walk into the gym in a tank top and shorts. I am a tatted muscle dude at the gym. And then there's the muscle queen thing.
Hopefully there is more substance to him, more than just talking about how he has muscles, but we will see. Next up is Mayhem Miller, and I am so excited for her. I've been waiting for her to get on Drag Race for so long, and clearly she has been as well. Everyone knows who she is, and they should. I sound like Aquaria.
And, they should.
Anyways, next up is Calorie Kardashian Williams, and I hate that name, so I'm just going to call her Calorie from now on. She is rocking 99-cent store thrift shop realness. She shakes her ass and she says that she is pretty much the twerk queen. So, she's got a lot of character. She seems fun, she seems nice. I mean, she wanted to be known for being kind, I guess, so, you know, she's kind. Next up is Monique Hart, and she walked into that workroom saying an entire autobiography, and I was here for it.
Cat, kitty, cat, 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 kitty, cat, cat, cow. Bringing you the heart of season 10, honey. Monique Hart, the face.
Oh, there's gonna be flavor this year. I can't wait. Yeah.
If you watch Blaze Amaze, he is the original creator of all of the edits of RuPaul's Drag Race. He calls them Ru-Ups. He made her entrance even more legendary, and I will link that video somewhere over here. The way he edited her entrance is hilarious. Next into the workroom is Dusty Ray Bottoms, and he is a Broadway punk queen. His look is giving me very punk 80s girl, and I am living for it. And there are a ton of queens from New York this season, but I am not mad at it. The more representation from New York, the better, in my opinion. The vixen comes in looking like Chicago threw up all over her, and she says that she's ready to fight, and Miss Cracker's face after she said that was probably one of the funniest things that this happened this entire episode. Next up is Miss Vanjie. She's super ghetto, super banjie, and I am living for her. She is probably one of my favorites this season, and we'll talk about what happened later on in the episode. Last into the workroom, and I knew they were going to do this and put her last because she has the biggest following, is Aquaria. Aquaria seemed very awkward around the girls, and her confessional, it just seems like she has pre-planned things said, and she does a lot of like the head tilting, and if she does that the entire season, I will get annoyed. Dusty Ray Bottom says that Cracker, your twin, is here, and I honestly don't think they look that much alike. I personally think that Aquaria, the way she paints, looks a lot more like Raven than it does Miss Cracker. But I digress. This is going to be the forced fake drama of the season from the producers. I can tell that Aquaria and Miss Cracker don't really care that much about it, but they have to push some storyline this season, and I guess this is going to be the Coco versus Alyssa. We get to the mini challenge, and there are tons of returning queens back and there to watch the new queens do things. There was tons of queens that I want to see back on another season, hopefully maybe for All Stars 4. I will do a prediction video as to who I think should be on All Stars 4 after this season. We saw queens like Peppermint, Darian Lake, Yara Sophia, Kim Chi, Jinx Monsoon, Bob the Drag Queen, Angina, Pork Chop. It was really nice to see Katya again since she has quit drag for about a year. I think she said she was going to do it for a year just to take a break for her mental health, which good for her. The gist of the next 5 minutes of this episode goes as follows. Eureka is so intimidated that she almost falls off stage. Mayhem Miller does a cartwheel in a gown. The Vixen's dress falls apart and she looks like a damn mess. Bob Monet exchanged the drag queen, does 3 dips, and I am living for it. And Aquaria smacks Jinx Monsoon right across the face, and this prompted Jinx Monsoon to say Can you shut the fuck up? And this prompted Jinx Monsoon to say probably the funniest line of the entire episode.
I didn't mind being slapped across the face. I was happy for the airtime.
The main challenge they learn is a repeat of the Drag on a Dime challenge they did in the first season, which I was very excited for. So I'm just gonna go in order of how they're lined up on the main stage after they run the runway. First up is Aquaria, and I personally do not really like this look. I almost like this look. She just looks kind of busted. I appreciated the volume of the skirt and the hat. I honestly didn't like her makeup that much. She and Eureka were going on and on about how Miss Cracker was stealing her face or something, but honestly Miss Cracker looked through stuff that she's done before and decided to do something that she's done before, and it just so happened that they were doing the same face, and Miss Cracker's looked better in my opinion. So next up was Asia O'Hara, and this outfit was busy, but I personally didn't really mind it that much. A lot of people thought that she should have been in the bottom, but I disagree with that. I like the headpiece. I like how it just stayed right on her head and she moved around in it and she wasn't holding it up like a Carmen Carrera situation. Next up was Calorie Kardashian. Ugh, no. Calorie. She did a money dress which looked fine. I mean, it was very boring, and there were so many other queens that have done dresses made out of money because they literally had a money ball challenge, and Acid Betty did it when she got the money ball look. I don't know, hers just didn't really live up to the measure. It wasn't really fitting properly, and I didn't really like the black lace in the back. It was just kind of bad. But next up was Blair St. Clair, and she is serving up some tinfoil realness. I personally think she looks really good. I was actually really surprised that she did a look that looked like this because I thought that she would go more old 40s style, but it was kind of updated and new, and I really appreciated that. Next up was Dusty Ray Bottoms looking like the Tin Man just got some type of weird syphilis condition, and I thought it looked fine. I did agree with Michelle that the hat kind of made it a little tackier and she should have just gotten rid of that. Next up was Cameron Michaels, and I thought that this should definitely have been in the bottom because it was so ugly, tacky. I didn't really like the hat with Cameron's outfit either. I don't know, it just all looked very crafty and 3rd grade school project, and it just didn't really look flattering on him. Next up was Monet Exchange, and she is scrubbing the floor with her dress, and I don't know if that was purposeful or just because the dress was a little too long. Started getting caught under his shoes. I'm not totally sure. I think that if the dress started with like few sponges up here and then as it went down, it started getting more and more sponges, I think it would have looked a lot better. The shape would have looked a lot better, and I definitely didn't get the references until he explained it about the dirt and the soap suds and the water and whatever, so I understood why he was safe. Next up was the Vixen, and this is one that a lot of people thought should be in the bottom, and I personally think that the Vixen should have been in the bottom because it was literally just a bunch of pool noodles wrapped around her with a bathing suit on under it. But I did appreciate the color scheme. I don't know, the way that she placed everything was really nice, kind of. I couldn't be too mad at it, but I do think that she should have been in the bottom 3. Next up is Mayhem Miller, and when this look came out, I literally gasped. It looked so good. It looked not even homemade. It just looked like it was an actual dress that you could buy. And I love the little glove on the head. That was a nice little hairpiece type moment. I'm living for it. I think that Mayhem Miller should do really well this season, and she ended up winning this challenge, which I was happy about. Next up was Eureka O'Hara, and she looks basic as hell. I believe that this was also bottom worthy, unfortunately. I mean, I love Eureka, but it was literally just like, it looked like a 7-year-old's Easter dress that her mom just bought her. Next up was Monique Hart, and I am so shocked that Monique was not in the top for this. I don't understand how this look was not in the top, let alone it could have won too. Mayhem's and Monique's were both very, very good. I probably would have put her in the top other than Blair St. Clair's. Maybe take Blair St. Clair's and make her safe instead. Next up is Vanessa Vanjie Mateo, and I thought this actually looked cute. I thought that the Barbie doll like right on her head that was like placing the flower on top of her head was really cute and really funny. I thought the outfit was charming, however it didn't really have a shape, and I think that's why she landed in the bottom, but it honestly wasn't that bad. I think they kind of read her a lot more than they needed to, but it is what it is. Next up is Yuha Hamasaki. I thought that the movement of this dress was beautiful. I thought the dress itself was fine. I really liked what she did with the headpiece on her head. I mean, she said she didn't even know what an ankh was, and it looked exactly like an ankh, but I thought she looked very, very good. Next up is Miss Cracker, and a lot of people really like this outfit, and I personally do too. I kind of like the top half a lot more than the bottom half. The bottom half kind of looked, maybe it was like over padded or something, and the material that she had didn't really go with it. It just kind of looked like a shower curtain wrapped around her, which might as well have been. I don't know. I think maybe if she had the material that Mayhem Miller used for her skirt for Miss Cracker's skirt, I think it would have looked a lot better, and she possibly could have won the challenge, but she still made an amazing neck piece that wrapped around, and the hat and everything. It just looked so good. So the critiques go by, and the only notable thing is that Michelle says that Dusty needs to have a dot-free face, and it seemed very harsh coming from Michelle in the first episode. It's just like, that's what he does. I mean, just because it's different from all the same faces that you see, like all of the Raven lookalikes that are on the stage 24/7, it seems kind of biased. If someone does something a little bit different, then Michelle always reads them for it. It's just kind of close-minded, but I understand what she was saying. Like, the dots did look a little better in Dusty's entrance than they did on the runway, but I don't think he should have been read for that anyways. But the winner of this week's challenge was Mayhem Miller, and she is so excited that she starts crying. She needs to embrace the fact that she's here and just live her life to the fullest and be extremely happy that she is there, which she is. I mean, she was crying of happiness, but she literally cried like 4 or 5 times this episode, and I'm like, girl, if you are crying this entire season, I can't listen to it. But I'm very happy that she won. I thought her outfit was amazing, and hopefully there's another design challenge this season. Maybe she can pull out another stop, who knows. The bottom 2 are decided to be Vanessa Vanjie Mateo and Calorie Kardashian Williams. Ew. And personally, I would have been okay with Calorie lip-syncing against Cameron Michaels instead, but it ended up being with Vanessa. I thought in the beginning of the lip sync it was going okay, but it just kind of was a little boring. I'm honestly not really sure how Calorie won, unless it was just for the throwing the money up and then jumping into the splits, because there were times during the lip sync where she was totally missing the words. From what I saw, Vanessa got all of the words correct, and she was doing really well in that. She was doing a bunch of hair flips, and the camera wasn't even focusing on her because it was just focusing on Calorie trying to pull the money out of her tits for 2 minutes and then throwing it up into the air. So they decide that Calorie should stay for some reason, and Miss Vanjie is going home, and she has probably one of the most iconic exit lines out of any girl ever on RuPaul's Drag Race, and it has now become a meme. I honestly hope the meme continues for the entire season until the reunion and never dies. They now have Untucked back on TV, and I am very, very excited for this. I thought that Untucked should have been on TV the last few seasons. I do think that they should still have 2 separate rooms, the Gold Bar and the Silver Lounge, I think they called it, and go back to kind of the old format. But I will say that these queens are not holding anything back, and they're not about like buddy, let's be best friends and be here for each other through everything, even if we don't agree with you like season 9 was. The most notable things to talk about is that the Vixen and Aquaria were talking about how Miss Cracker stole her face, and the Vixen was talking about how Miss Cracker faked her way to the competition. And that got Miss Cracker mad at the viewing party because there is a video circulating during Cameron Michaels' performance. If you haven't seen it, it is really funny. But basically you can see the camera zooming into Miss Cracker's face, and she is not pleased. And she tweeted out later that it was because she was still steaming from watching Untucked, which I thought was really funny. Hopefully they have a reunion and they talk it out and whatever. But Aquaria goes on to talk about how Miss Cracker stole an outfit from her and about how there was a yellow dress with a cutout and a poofy sleeve and whatever. And these are the 2 dresses that are side by side, and honestly there is no poofy sleeve for her, and I think that she is just reading into it too much because they don't really look anything alike. So I thought this was a great start to the season. I am really excited for a lot of these queens. There's no queens really that I'm not that interested in, which I always find myself every season where I'm just like, I don't think, like, I can look at a person and just kind of know that they're not going to win. Sorry, but I look at Calorie and I'm just like, there's no way that Calorie can win this whole thing. But I do think that everybody else has a pretty good chance at winning this entire thing, so we'll see what happens. Next week is the Farmer Rusical episode, and I'm very excited for that. I always like the musical episodes, so hopefully this one lives up to the potential. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, do whatever you want to do. Talk about who is your favorite queen and who you want to see go far, who you want to win, and who you can't stand, because I'm sure there are queens that you can't stand, because there are always queens that people can't stand every single season. I'll try to reply to all of the comments, I usually do, and I will see you on the next video. Bye!